The Chiefs are in an absolute free fall right now. They've now lost 6 of their last 7 after losing to the Jets yesterday. Late in the fourth quarter, Chiefs defensive back Marcus Peters picked up a ref's flag and threw it into the stands. Peters then walked off the field into the locker room, even though he wasn't ejected on the play. Andy Reid said Peters thought he was ejected, but was actually just given an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. We're joined by Fox NFL analyst Tony Gonzalez. Welcome, Tony.
What's up, guys?
Yeah.
Good.
What's up?
Yeah.
What's your take on this whole situation?
It's like, do I believe him? Yeah, I believe him. I think for sure he thought he was kicked out. When I was looking at it, for sure I was like, oh, he's gone. But I don't know what the rule is. So yeah, he's in the locker room. Why though? Okay, he's frustrated. He did that. He made a conscious decision. He lost his cool, just like we saw last week with the Raider players and the Denver Bronco players. And that's, I think, you just lose it. But I think, to me, they're in the middle of the skid right now. Alex Smith played well. But to me, I'm frustrated now because they're frustrated. And they need to understand they're still in a position to win this division. They still have a chance. There's an opportunity there. And to me, behavior like this, I'm looking at Andy Reid, and I hope he's addressing it today. I hope that meeting room he's lighting into these guys and telling them, look, that's basically saying I give up. That's basically saying I give up. And Marcus Peters is a phenomenal football player. If he can just control himself emotionally, he will take that next step to being one of the, like, an all-pro year in and year out. But that is, I think, his last step to being a truly great football player is controlling his emotions.
In the words of the old Tom Petty song, they're free falling. Nobody saw this.
God rest his soul.
Rest his soul.
Yeah.
Yep. No one saw this because they were the hottest team. They went to New England and they put a demolition and they were just rolling along 30 points and Tyreek Hill and Kareem Hunt and Alex Smith. And so everything was going well. And then, we kind of saw this. We thought they would take a little step back defensively once Barry got hurt, especially in the first game. Mm-hmm. Alex Smith finally turned the corner. He finally got it right. Okay, he played really well yesterday.
He did.
4 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and then the defense just falls completely apart. And that's what happens, frustration, because you see where you were and then you see where you are now. And the teams that you was steamrolling, all of a sudden the Chargers are like, we gonna win this thing. Mm-hmm. The Raiders like, hold on, they left us for dead. We got a chance to win. Yep. And as you mentioned, Tony, the Kansas City needs to realize, well, hold on, we still in the front. San Diego has to come to us. Mm-hmm. Oakland has to come to us. So we still have a lot to play for. I'm surprised because normally, Skip, when they throw a player out, they'll announce it. The referee will come on. 22 has been ejected from the game.
Yep.
I didn't hear that. I knew he was going to get an unsportsmanlike conduct because he took the penalty, he threw it. Now, I've seen him throw the flag, a player throw the flag. I've never seen one throw it up in the stands like that. So he knew he was going to get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, 15 yards. But they're desperate, Skip. They signed Darrelle Revis. Skip, there's a reason why Darrelle Revis waited until almost the end of the season to get signed. Because a lot of people that watched Darrelle Revis last year play, his attitude said he was the guy that had made a lot of money and he didn't want to play anymore, and they saw a guy that it was over. And the Chiefs are so desperate, they took a 32-year-old who, at the tail end, started coming into camp not in peak condition. Mm-hmm. Well, if he's not in peak condition when he's expected to play at the start of the season, what kind of conditioning you think he's in now? Plays in the first half, he doesn't play a snap in the second half. Mm-hmm. This is very unfortunate. Peters, as you mentioned, Tony, he was frustrated, but I don't really think frustration should never allow you to do something like this.
I would have taken Darrelle Revis on my Dallas Cowboys from the start of the year and been very happy, and they might have won a couple of games that they blew in the stretch without Sean Lee. Just to put a stamp on that. Now to this. I thought Marcus Peters checked out yesterday. I thought he just flat out said, I've had enough of this and them, and he's a terrific football player. Mm-hmm. No offense there. But I think he quit on his team, and I think his head coach, who is a player's coach, defended him after the game by saying, oh, he thought he was ejected. I don't think he thought he was ejected. I think he wanted to get ejected because he had had enough. And I can't really blame him for having had enough, but I can definitely blame him for walking off the field on your team. And then he came back when somebody ran to the locker room and said, you got to come back out. He came back dressed the way Shannon Sharp dresses for Undisputed, with no socks, no socks. What did that tell you? He just said,
Yeah, he was
I
like-
ain't going to play anymore. You can make me go back out there. But he spends the whole rest of the game. He's jawing with the Jets fans up in the stands. It's just a bad look.
Terrible look.
This isn't just free falling. This is hitting bottom. And ironically, they're still at the top when they hit bottom.
Right.
They're 6-6. And to your point, they got the easiest schedule left. They got 3 straight home games, Raiders, Chargers, and then Dolphins. And then they go to Denver. What's left of Denver?
Yeah.
So they have a chance to finish it off.
And think about it, Skip. Every time we hear last week when the Broncos and the Raiders got into it, 21 and 15 has been ejected. 92 has also been ejected for touching an official. You hear the referee comes on, he let them know. Nobody heard that.
Nope.
So how would he assume that he's been ejected when no one told him he was ejected? He, as you had mentioned, he ejected himself.
He did.
Because
I've
Skip,
had
there are
enough.
a lot of penalties. You know, they call like at a 7-8 stretch sequence. They had like 4 or
They
5
did.
holding calls.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm done.
Okay, I'm out.
I'm done.
Shannon, answer this. If you're Andy Reid,
Mm-hmm.
what do you say to them today in the locker room? Do you light into them? And,
Yeah.
Because don't
I-
you think you have to have that? We've been in those meetings
Yes.
before. They need that type of meeting.
I have to have a conversation, guys. We're gonna win some, we're gonna lose some, but this behavior can never be accepted. You never accept anything in a win you wouldn't in a loss, and vice versa.
I think he has to have that talk with Marcus.
Yeah, well, I'm talking to, but Skip, you're talking mainly to Marcus, but you're talking to the team. You're addressing the team, but the conversation you're having
Okay.
is mainly to him because he did it.
Would you do it in front of the team?
Yeah, yeah. Because Skip, I'm upset because we haven't been playing well as a unit. Now, this was boiling over, him throwing the flag up in the stands, but there's a reason why they've lost 6 or 7. They haven't been playing well, and then we thought it was like, and Alex Smith finally turned the corner. He played really well yesterday.
He was really good. He
But
had a QBR like 96.
But the defense, what happened, Skip? What happened to the
I
defense?
don't know.
They
Well,
can't get no pressure.
Okay, what happened on opening night? You win the battle, lose the war, so to speak, because you lost
Eric
Eric
Berry.
Berry after he did a number on Gronk on that Thursday night. In
And they
Foxborough.
couldn't block Justin Houston.
Nope.
When did
I don't know. Where'd he go?
This is, I'm telling you right now, as I'm thinking more, this might even be one of those players-only meetings where let's get
Maybe.
the coaches out of the locker room because
Yep.
you're still there. You got a
Yeah.
very good football team.
Yeah,
you got
you know-
good players. Something's going on in that locker room right now.
At 6-6, if you don't win the division, when you got 3 of your last 4 at home, yeah.
Okay, but do I think they're going to win it? I do not.
You
I
like
still
San
think the
Diego?
Chargers are going to win it.
I think the Chargers are playing the best. The Chargers are one of the 3 best teams in the AFC right now, with the Steelers and New England.
They got the best defense in this division, and they have the hottest offense. It hadn't been all year, but it's hot now.
I'll take I'll take San Diego's quarterback. And you've always taken San Diego's quarterback over anybody else in this division.
Except they do play in L.A., but I forget.
Oh, I keep
That's
saying
okay.
that.
It's okay because they barely play in L.A. because they
Nobody
barely have
watches
any
them.
fans.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen to the Raiders because when they go to Vegas, ain't nobody going to be calling them the Las Vegas. Oh, it's still.
Nope, they will be the
That's gonna
Oakland
be-
Raiders in Las Vegas. I agree.
Exactly. You have to add a little bit to it. Yeah. Well, this is one of those seasons that if they don't turn it around, that's gonna be one of those ones you regret forever, especially considering the way
epic
that they
collapse.
started. Yeah. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Did Russell Wilson take the MVP lead last night? We'll discuss that next.